Hello and welcome to episode number 283 of the Launch Lounge podcast. Today we're talking about the 4 biggest lies you've been told about passive income and why believing them could be costing you thousands of dollars and months in wasted effort. If you want to discover how to not fall for these tricks and what to do instead, stay tuned. Hello everyone, it is so nice for me to be here in your ears today, wherever you are, if you're on a walk or at the gym or in your car or cooking dinner. Thank you for being here with me and thank you for listening. And I want to give a special and huge shout out to M. Linus in Denmark. I'm sorry, I don't know your first name. They have left a beautiful review for me for the show, gave it 5 stars and said every single episode, I never miss an episode, with the thankful hand emojis. So M. Linus in Denmark, thank you so much for taking the time to rate and review the podcast. It really does help for me to find or to be found by other people like you who are going to benefit from listening. And if you haven't yet rated or reviewed the podcast, please do so. I really appreciate each and every single rating and review that I get, and it does help us to grow this show. So thank you very much. I love knowing that people in Denmark are listening. I've never been to Denmark, and I have a friend who lives in Sweden, so maybe it's on the cards. Maybe next year in the European winter, when I'm freezing my hiney off here in Brisbane, complaining about the cold, I will make it to Europe. We're talking about passive income today. Now, I know a lot of you might instantly go, oh, passive income, eye roll. And you're already on board with me about this lie that passive income is. But there are gray areas in this whole passive income belief that we have, that the internet can provide us with passive income. And I want to bust some myths today. And I'm also going to tell you what to believe instead. But I remember when I just started out and I was desperate to get out of my full-time job, and I really wanted freedom and flexibility, and I really wanted to create a life on my terms, and I felt trapped by my job, and I felt time trapped because I wasn't in charge of my own time. I felt priority trapped because I couldn't prioritize my life around the things that mattered most to me. And I felt financially trapped because, I knew there was a ceiling that I could achieve. And particularly, I also knew there was a ceiling I could achieve if I wanted to balance my life the way that I did. I could excel more and achieve more, but that would have meant moving into management, which would have meant more travel, which would have meant more time in the office, which would have meant less flexibility for me. And my ambition just kind of went pow as soon as my kids were born. And I was like, nah, thanks. I don't want any of that. I want the money. I want the money that goes with it, but I don't want that to be owned in that way by a company. Freedom and independence is one of my core values. I think it has something to do with having ADHD, because I find that it's very much linked to a need for spontaneity. And, I get my dopamine hits from doing what I want when I want. So I guess my core value of freedom and independence must be linked to that as well. But all of these things combined did, in the beginning when I was starting out, make it so attractive for me to see these ads on Facebook at the time. I don't think Instagram was even around when I started, but to see the ads and to hear people talk about the promise of passive income, and whether that was in that time, passive income was very much linked to drop shipping as a business model. And so I looked into that, and it was very much, into affiliate marketing. So, all you have to do is sell someone else's stuff. And so I looked into that. And eventually landed on coaching, right? Because I found coaching, I can do stuff. I like talking to people. I like being with people, and I like teaching people. I like coaching people. I like helping people. So that kind of became my ticket into the world of online money. And with it passive income, the dream of passive income, the idea of making passive income. And I remember in those first years trying to get the coaching business up and being frustrated that the coaching business wasn't growing fast enough. I remember again buying into the passive income lie when I moved to online courses, because the lie that I bought into was that you're working your tail off to build a coaching business and you're only able to sell one-on-one and you're trading time for money, which is all true stuff, but it doesn't have to be bad stuff. But it's all true, and I was struggling to sell my services, and so I went, well, the solution is I need to sell one-to-many. If I can only sell one-to-many, then my struggles of one-to-one sales and of finding coaching clients and of trading time for money will be over. And again, that is a lie. Even if you move to an online courses, to a one-to-many model, you are still spending a lot of time working. You are still, to a certain degree, trading your time for money at a point, because you still have to create content, you still have to build that audience, and then you still have to launch, and then you have to still coach those students and train those students. So unless you have a business where you are literally just using ads to sell stuff and that's profitable, then you are still working and you are still trading time for money. Now, the lie comes in where people go, well, then let me just use ads to sell something and I'm going to have passive income. And I will tell you, and my clients with Evergreen funnels will tell you, and everybody else on this planet who has an Evergreen funnel will tell you, there is nothing passive about Evergreen funnels. My Evergreen funnel clients work their tails off. They work hard optimizing and checking and keeping track of and making sure it's there, and just working so hard to make sure that Evergreen funnel stays where it's at. And when you only have an evergreen funnel in your business, and that is your source of online income, and the only source of traffic for that evergreen funnel is ads, you're in a dangerous space, because Zuckerberg does stuff and Apple decides to block pixels, and then everybody loses their evergreen funnels, and AI becomes a thing. And suddenly Meta's using AI, and then the algorithm works differently and people lose their evergreen funnels. So I was sitting here and I got one of those ads, and it was talking about passive income, and I wanted to vomit in my mouth a little bit. And I thought, we've got to talk about this. So I have identified the 4 biggest lies that I found that's currently doing the rounds online, that is putting ads in our feeds, telling us we can build passive income. And I'm going to tell you what they are, and I'm going to tell you why they're not true. So the first one is, this one. I wonder if I asked you to tell me, to put up your hand if you've seen this, if you've come across this in the last, I feel like it's been, maybe 2 years. This one has been around, and this one keeps coming back around. It keeps coming back around. You can build a course or an evergreen funnel entirely with AI. Now, somebody that I have spent a lot of time learning from is one of the perpetrators of spreading this lie. His name is Frank Kern, and Mr. Kern is a master at selling, right? He's really good, and his marketing and copywriting skills are amazing. But Frank likes to push the boundaries a little bit, to push the edge a little bit. And he has been running ads promising that he will show you how to build your entire funnel and your entire course and your entire launch and all the things using AI. And that is just not true, because you are the only person who knows your customers inside and out. And you might be tempted to use AI to do all of it if you don't know your customers. Like if this came my way back in the day when I had no customers and I wanted a quick fix solution to make money online, this would have been tempting to me. But now I know the importance of understanding my ideal customer, knowing my ideal customer. You need you to be in your content. And I know there are ways to put your voice into AI. I absolutely know that. I do that myself. But you cannot remove your brain from the entire process of building a funnel, of creating sales pages, of making offers that convert, of, knowing which email sequences to add, knowing how to add urgency and scarcity to it, and understanding how to meet your ideal customer where they are in their pain and where they are in what their deepest desires are. Now, I'm going to say this because you guys, I know you listen and you know that you've heard me talk about what I'm doing with AI with my clients. And I love that, what we're doing with AI with our clients. But the reason it works is because I have 10 years of knowledge of building offers. I have 10 years of knowledge of pulling out of your voice of customer data their biggest objections. I have 10 years of knowledge of understanding what a sales page that converts look like, right? So I can use my brain to build these AI systems and then use AI systems to build offers and funnels and launches for my client. But every little piece of the way, every little bit that we go through it has to first go through my brain. It goes through my brain and I go, is this accurate? Is this a reflection? And then I send it to the client and I say, is this true? Are we getting it right? Are we on the right path here? Because you know your customer better than I do. And AI can get confused, okay? So myth number one, you can build it entirely with AI. You cannot entirely with AI. You can use AI. You cannot build it entirely with AI. Don't fall for it. All right, myth number two, you can set it and forget it. Oh, there's the ads one. There's the one that I totally understand. I have a client who launches live, and during her live launch, she does between 8 and 10 webinars in a period of 5 days. Those 5 days, those 8 to 10 webinars are off the charts. Like, it is insane what they do in that 5 to 8 days, five days that they do these live webinars. They work their heinies off. They really do. And when she says to me, I can't wait to evergreen this thing, I'm like, oh, how am I going to tell this? How am I going to tell this? How am I going to say this to her? Part of the magic of that launch, because it works really well, is the live interaction. It is the live bit. Now, that doesn't mean it can't work on Evergreen. It definitely can. But if we ever move that specific launch to Evergreen, it's going to lose a lot of it. Like, its conversion rates are going to come down way down. Now, it's pretty high right now. So can we afford it to come down? Yes, we can. But do we need to be strategic about it? Absolutely. Every single Evergreen funnel or automated funnel or do it in your sleep funnel or passive income funnel is like a living, breathing being. And just like a living, breathing being, it goes through seasons and it has different needs at different times. So, a living, breathing thing sometimes needs food, sometimes it needs water, sometimes it needs sleep, sometimes it needs new ads, sometimes it needs not to change the ads. Sometimes it needs for people to stop changing the ads, right? It has ups and downs, and it's impacted by algorithms, and it's impacted by politics, and it's impacted by economic changes. Your Evergreen funnel requires weekly data tracking, close tracking of every single conversion point. We have a massive spreadsheet that our clients fill in every single week for us to keep track of those numbers, and it requires a trained eye to keep an eye on those numbers, to make sure those numbers are staying where they need to stay, and not, so we don't suddenly have some conversion point doing something and it all falls out at the bottom. I have seen people, I have actually seen a pixel fall off of a page. We have no idea how this happened. We can trace it back to a moment in time where that pixel disappeared off of the page, but we have no idea how this happened. And if we weren't tracking that funnel like every single week and that pixel fell off, it would have just slowly died. That funnel would have slowly died because the algorithm would have just become unable to learn. And this is going back a few years, right? But you need to keep a close eye on those results, and you need to constantly be testing new things to see if you can increase conversions at different points. But you also have to be strategic about it because you can't change two things at the same time. So you change one thing and then you wait 2 weeks and you see if it's made a difference. And then you change another thing and you wait 2 weeks and you see if it's made a difference. And you change another thing and you wait 2 weeks. It's a long game. It's a long game. It's a patience game. It's a numbers game. And it is a very active involvement game. So it is not a set it and forget it thing. Your evergreen funnel does give you some freedom because you're not going to do these big live launches, right? But if you want to grow and scale, you'll use that freedom to then create a second revenue stream that doesn't solely rely on ads to run, right? You create a second revenue stream so you can double your revenue without working harder. You increase that second revenue stream so that you serve your clients at a higher rate, so that you could increase your lifetime value of a customer, so that you can increase the number of sales you get from one customer, right? So there's nothing passive about it, and you cannot set it and forget it. That's myth number 2. Myth number 3 is you don't need to launch it live before creating it passively. You do. Every single funnel can be optimized. In every single funnel, there is something going on that can do better. And the best time to optimize every single conversion point in your funnel is when you're live launching, because that's when people are giving you feedback. That's when you're getting emails with questions. That's when you're hearing what your audience says, why they're not buying. That's where you have a large number of people moving through that funnel in a short period of time, so you can collect a lot of real-time data. Because with evergreen funnels, it takes a while to build up that data, right? You get feedback in the moment, you can add bonuses, you can send more emails, you can overcome objections, you can actually really spend that time to hear what they're saying their problem is. And when you do that, then you are able to create an evergreen funnel or a passive income funnel that relies on ads to bring people in. But because that traffic is so much colder, they need a very highly optimized funnel in order to move through it profitably. Selling to cold traffic requires conversion skills. And most of us, let me put it this way. None of us are born with natural conversion skills, right? Some of us are born naturally good copywriters. Some of us are born naturally good communicators. Some of us are born naturally good teachers, but none of us are born with conversion skills. But it is a skill that can be taught. It's a skill that you can learn. So you can learn to get better at selling, and you can learn to get better at conversion copywriting, and you can learn to get better and better and better at creating offers that your ideal customer actually wants. So, and you learn that by live launching. That's just the only place where you learn it. All right, so that's myth number 3. You don't need to launch it live before creating evergreen. Myth number 4, the last one, is just because you know a topic well doesn't mean you can sell it well. Now, here's where I see this happening. You've spent a lifetime in a specific career, or you have accumulated all the accolades in your industry, or you are the leader in the field of something. And now you want to take the thing that you are a master of, turn it into an online course, and sell it online. It does not always translate. Because if you sold your services or your expertise or gained your expertise or made money from your expertise in a space that was not the online space, then that finding customers doesn't just translate to the online world. You are not just going to find customers online just because you've been able to build expertise offline. You are an expert at what you do, and you might also even be an expert at teaching what you teach. Maybe you've had classrooms of people. Maybe you've been coaching for a while and you've got loads of coaching experience. But that doesn't necessarily mean you know how to market and sell. And when you buy into this idea that you have knowledge, you have expertise, and just because you have knowledge and expertise, you can now sell that online, you could run into a few roadblocks because you're going to need to learn marketing first, and you're going to need to learn sales first, and you're going to need to learn how to speak like a marketer, how to write like a copywriter, like a conversion copywriter. And you're going to need to learn how to get in front of your ideal customer in a digital world online where people are only searching for their deepest, truest pain points. And a lot of the time I see people who are experts who solved problems for people in maybe corporate spaces or health and wellness spaces where the customer they used to deal with came from them from another source or sat in front of them at a conference because someone else paid for them to be there. And they're not necessarily going home, sitting in front of the TV, scrolling online, searching for that same solution. So just because you built it doesn't mean they're going to come. And just because you know your stuff doesn't mean you know how to sell your stuff. All right, so be careful of that passive income lie. Now, here's what I want you to really remember today. There's no such thing as a perfect launch strategy or truly passive income streams. The online business world loves to sell us black and white thinking. Evergreen versus live, right? You have to choose one and you have to put your stake in the ground. Passive versus active. Choose one and put your stake in the ground. Automated versus manual. No, we don't have to use black and white thinking. That's for kids. We're not kids, we're adults. But that's not how real life works. Your freedom empire isn't going to be built by choosing sides on some imaginary line between different launch types or different income streams. It's going to be built by you becoming the kind of entrepreneur who understands that every stream requires your genius, requires your attention, and it requires your constant evolution. And there's nothing passive about that. So stop looking for the magic bullet that's going to solve all your problems while you sleep. Instead, fall in love with the process of building something that truly works, something that combines the best of live launching with the scalability of Evergreen, something that grows because you're actively nurturing it, not because you found the perfect automation. The most successful course creators I know aren't the ones who found the perfect system. They're not the ones who found the lazy system or the passive income system. They're the ones who stopped chasing perfection, who stopped chasing cheap solutions, and who started building something real, something authentic, something that could only come from them and from hard work. Your expertise deserves better than a set it and forget it approach. Your audience deserves better. And you definitely deserve better. So go build your freedom empire with intention, with presence, and with the understanding that the best businesses are living, breathing creations that grow because their creators never stop caring about making them better. Join me on Thursday when I'm going to answer a listener's question about why her webinar show up rate and her sales rate continues to stay really low despite having good copy on her pages and all the email sequences in place. Talk to you this Thursday. Bye. you go. If today's episode helped you, imagine how many more lives could be transformed if other creators, coaches, and experts found these strategies too. Your shares and reviews help more course creators discover how to get their knowledge out into the world. Please take a moment to rate the show and leave a quick review. When you do, we get to reach more people and we make a bigger impact together. Because when more people who help people succeed, the world becomes a better place. Thank you.